Yeah, so this is a short introduction to Pandas. The Pandas library in Python is the equivalent of, or provides the equivalent of the data frame in R. We have here a Jupyter notebook that I'm running out of our environment that we've created in an earlier video. And first of all, I'm going to import important libraries. That will be Pandas. And it's standard to import it as PD. And then we also import NumPy. We can execute this cell. Done. So there are two basic data structures in Pandas. The first one is called a series. That is the equivalent of a vector. So it can contain integers and also strings and not numbers. The second one is a data frame that is the equivalent to the R data frame. Let's start with the series. I'll show you how you can create a series object. So you type the name of the object that you want to create, and then the call is series. Then you open round brackets, and then you add everything that you want to be in this series. You close the bracket, and then we can execute this cell. And we can look at what is in this series. That is what we have here. It says it's a type float. Then I'll show you how to create a data frame. So basically, a data frame combines different series. So each column of a data frame, if you subset it to just this one column, is a series. And I'll create a data frame from scratch. I've prepared some data frame here so that I don't need to type it all. But you see here that I'm basically, I can add series as columns in my data frame. And very similar to R, I can create this data frame by specifying the column and then adding what I want to be in there. And then I type run. And you see that this data frame command is quite smart. So for example, if I just type foo here, it will fill up the data frame with the right amount of foo. So it has to be balanced. And the length of the data frame is determined by, for example, this column here, but also this column, and they have to match. So if you specify the length of the series, they have to match, otherwise they will just fill it up, the data frame will just fill it up. We can query this data frame or get some information about this data frame. You can get the column names by typing columns. The df columns gets us the columns in a vector. And then we can also get the index, so the row index by df index. And that will give us the row index in a vector. Assuming we have a very large data frame, which is not the case, but if we want to just have an overview, a quick overview preview of the data frame, we could type df head, and you need empty square brackets, empty brackets for that, so that would just give you the first 5 rows, which is in our case the entire data frame because it's so small, similar to df tail, which would give you the last 5 rows, which is also just now the entire data frame. Now let's start to see how we can subset data frames. The first option is just selecting by column names. So for example, let's say we just want the A column. And we just type df A. And that gives us the A column. We could also just change that to df D, just to demonstrate it. Then we get the D column. We can also, a kind of equivalent way to do that is using the dot method. That also gives us the D column. Similar to subsetting by columns, we can also subset by rows. And we do that in a similar way as we would do in R, just specify the rows, basically. That should give us the third and to the third row, basically. Yep, it does. If we want, we can also select row and column, and a good way to do that is using the lock method. That's basically location. So that, for example, if we want to select the second to the fourth, to the second and the third row and the column A and B, then we would do it do it like this. And that would give us the second and the third row and the column A and B. So we need lock always for the column. And then there's another one that is called ilock, and ilock is used for the index. So we can also get for example, the first row and the second to third column by ilock. So ilock is always the index and lock is always the label. Cool. We can also, let's say we want to iterate over a data frame. So for example, we have this integer I that changes with an iteration. We can also do that by subsetting this here with I. Gives us the same output. Similar would be possible if we use if we subset with the column name, then we could use the lock method. Close this. Yep. And one last bit for this little tutorial is so the data frame. If you call dfa to frame, and we see what's in there. then we see we just get the first column. And it's important that we put this to frame here, because if we put just DFA, then we get a series. As I said, subsetting just one column of a Pandas data frame is a series. Yep, it says it's a series, whereas here it's a proper data frame. Okay, I think this was it. Next time we will have a look at how to calculate summary statistics of a data frame. See you then.